Is it going to give us a count? There we go.
All right. Hi, everyone. So this is our alumni panel. It's basically just a time where we're just going to be asking a bunch of questions to Courts Hill graduates about like their experience in college, and if we want any advice about like high school or about applying to college, then yeah, this is just like a great place to do that. So I just kind of want to start off with everyone doing introductions. So if you want to say like your name and your school, what's your major, and why did you choose that school? We can start with like Bianca. And then if you want, like, just say someone's name afterwards so we know.
Hi, I'm Bianca. I'm at UC Santa Cruz right now. Right now I'm majoring in cognitive science. However, I'm like not totally sure what I do. I'm still exploring, so happy to do that. So Santa Cruz wasn't necessarily my top college. It was basically my backup. So like due to like the class of like the year 2020, it kind of like went not what I expected necessarily, but I ended up really like loving Santa Cruz and like just like basically being in a new area and learning new things. So I'm really happy where really happy where I am right now. So yeah, if something doesn't go really your way, you'll find something to love in the future wherever you are. Yeah. And then I'll popcorn to Gwen.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Gwen. I go to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I'm majoring in liberal studies, which is basically teaching, in case anybody doesn't know that term. I'm concentrating in human development and minoring in child development. And I chose Cal Poly SLO because it wasn't too far from home, so I can visit when I need to. It's a small town, and my major at this school is very intimate, so I get to know everyone and get a lot of new experiences. And I'm going to popcorn to AJ.
Hi, everyone. I'm AJ. I go to NYU, and I'm majoring in politics and journalism. And I applied early decision to NYU because I knew early on that I really wanted to go here. And obviously, living in the city is one of the best things in the world. I'm going to pass it on to Aiden.
Hey guys, I'm Aiden Stick-Romana. I'm currently attending UCSD. I'm an international business major with a minor in finance. I decided to choose UCSD because of its location and because of the great accessibility for my major in the San Diego city. That's the light answer, but the realistic answer is just UCSD was one of two choices. So I love it here. I'm a popcorn of Pranesh.
Hey everyone, my name is Pranesh. I go to UC Berkeley. So you can see like in the background, there's like the blue and yellow colors. That's our school colors. I'm currently majoring in engineering physics, and I'm planning on minoring in EECS or switching my major to EECS. And EECS stands for electrical engineering and computer science. Why I chose Berkeley, I mean, one thing that I really liked about Berkeley was just the overall vibe that I got when visiting. The Bay Area is a really nice place, and I thought that I could really see myself settling here because the weather is awesome. The people are great as well. There's a lot to do here. Like San Francisco is like 15 minutes away from here, so that's really nice as well. And out of the options I had as well, like I thought that UC Berkeley was the best. Yeah, it was like a tough admissions process for all of us. So, I mean, I ended up liking Berkeley the most out of my options, and so that's why I go here. So yeah. Are there any more people who I need to popcorn to?
No, you're good. All right, so is there anyone here that would like to ask our alumni any questions, like Dylan or Logan? I think that's like mostly who's here. All right, well, you guys can like jump in whenever you want. I have a question. It would be like, what kind of advice would you give to students applying to college? And whoever wants to go, just jump in.
I guess I could start. When you're applying for college, I say start early. Whether it be writing or just coming up with ideas, have a good understanding of how you want to portray yourself to colleges and be specific in like what you want to write about. What do you feel really shows your true colors to the administration?
I totally agree with that. Another thing I would say is as you're making a list of what schools you want to apply to, if you have the opportunity to, I really recommend visiting the school. I had a lot of schools on my list that I was interested in, and the second I even just drove through the campus, I knew that it was not for me, just the vibes, everything. Just wasn't really what I was looking for. So if you have the chance, visit the schools because it might um, make you see which ones won't work for you. And personally, I didn't even want to look at Cal Poly SLO. My mom forced me to drive through the school because it was on the way home, visiting another school. So just it might spark your interest, a school you never expected. So just if you get that opportunity, I really recommend that.
I just wanted to add one more thing. I would say start applying to any scholarships as soon as you can because college is like probably one of the most expensive investments of your life. And coming from someone who goes to NYU, which is like the most expensive college ever, I would just say like take advantage of any scholarship opportunities that you can, even if you don't think you're gonna get it. If it's like a large scholarship open to so many people, just apply because you never know.
One more thing that I would like to add is regarding like essays. I feel like a lot of people stress out over essays because I mean rightfully so, I guess. Like they're an important part of the application process. But I think when it comes to essays, like it's not the goal to try and craft like this perfect essay. I think the goal is to like just try and be as authentic as you can with your essays and just with your entire application in general. And so don't try and like format your essays or any part of your application as if you're trying to impress the admissions officer. Just be authentic. Just talk about what you've done, why you think you'd enjoy this school, and just other things like that. Just try and be as authentic as you can. And that will pay dividends more than trying to artificially just like write like very inflated things in your essay. Try to avoid that.
Yeah, I have to agree with that essay part. Being just like really unique. I know it could be hard to like find stuff like to like show your true authentic self in your writing. So that takes a lot of practice. So really just like what Aiden said, start early, start thinking about what you want to write, start thinking about what you want to show to the college admission readers because someone was telling me how they're constantly reading the same essays repetitively. So you really don't want to be boring, I guess. So be as unique and out there as possible.
All right, and then I just wanted to ask, like, oh, Dylan, you can go ahead actually.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask this. For the certain scholarships, was there one that you had just specifically for the college, or was there one just for the money and you didn't have to be towards a certain college? Like, did you have to like commit to any colleges, or like the ones that you can find just like free money for?
Yeah, I
any-
can. So there were a few local scholarships that I had entered, and I've gotten like $100, $500. I believe Mr. Jennison last year we posted like a list, I believe, of just a few local scholarships that you could apply to. And then for me personally, I was granted a scholarship to go to NYU, which is like the only reason why I could afford it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to. But I would look into school-specific scholarships and also local.
Something to add, even there's like fun prompts you can answer to get a scholarship. Like one of them was like, oh, why do you like reading, or why do you like playing video games or whatever. I don't know like the specific website, but I'll definitely look into that and let Alexis know. But there's definitely a few scholarships where you can get like $500 for fun prompts or anything like that.
Yeah, and there are also some scholarships that they just give to you, like because I filled out my FAFSA, I got the middle class scholarship, which takes like around 1,300 off every quarter. And although that doesn't seem like super like a lot, any amount helps.
I'm thinking.
Okay, and then I just wanted to ask Pranesh, like, since he's majoring in engineering, like, and there's like that whole stereotype with math, like being very like intense and stuff. Like, how true is that actually, and how has it been to like keep up with that work?
Um, I've definitely experienced my classes being tough, and I think part of that has to do with how Berkeley is like. Um, like a lot of freshmen have to take like in engineering and in any like STEM major have to take like these classes called weeder classes. Um, and so there's like a lot of introductory classes that classify as weeder classes. There's like an introductory CS class called CS 61A. There's like an introductory math class called Math 1B, or there's Math 53. All of these classes are introductory classes, and they obviously don't say that they're weeder classes, but they're like widely considered weeder classes just because the grading is so intense for the classes. And it's because the departments have so many students wanting to pursue like certain majors. Like CS is a very impacted major, for example, and engineering EECS is also a very impacted major. And so you have a lot of people wanting to take these introductory classes to be able to declare the major, but there's only so many people that can actually like get the major, right? So the department like has to make the classes intense in order to weed out certain students. That's why they're called weeder classes. And so I've experienced that, but I think it's the case in a lot of colleges that just engineering and math classes in general are tough. It's not just a problem that's limited to Berkeley. Like, if you go to any other university out there and study engineering, you're going to have a similar problem. Like the engineering classes are going to be tough because engineering is just a tough field to major in. But I think it's manageable. One thing I like about Berkeley is that it's surprisingly collaborative. And I think you'll find this in a lot of colleges as well. The students aren't going to be like competing against each other to get the best grade. It's like them versus the class kind of. So they like tend to work together to do better in the class because they feel like the class is like the thing that they're fighting. Like they want to do good in the class and they want to fight against the rough grading system. And so they'll tend to work together, and people are very collaborative here. So yeah, like the classes are tough, but that's just how engineering is. But it's still like very doable to like get through the classes. Yeah, so if you're like interested in math and science, I would still say pursue engineering because even though the classes might be tough, like it's a very lucrative field and there's a lot of opportunities out there.
All right, and did the cabinet want to ask any other questions?
Yeah, actually, I had a quick question. So this is more of a personal question for each and every one of you. So I know through the admissions process, admissions officers obviously pick students on like unique purposes. And I was wondering, what do you guys think helped you during your admissions kind of like journey? Like, what do you think like stood out in your application that allowed you to get accepted into your school?
I can start. I would say by crafting a story that's unique to you and making your application cohesive around that story is really helpful. Like for me, I'm majoring in politics and journalism, and so I had to write a why NYU essay, which is specifically why I wanted to go to NYU. And I just made sure to be really specific. I like pointed out what classes I wanted to take, what specific journalism opportunities I wanted to do. And when I wrote my overall Common App essay, I made sure to tell that story and tie it all together.
I can go next. So Cal Poly specifically is a CalState school, so I didn't have to write any essays or anything to get in. Like mainly liberal studies is we need teachers, so teaching is a great major to go into if you're really looking to get in. So first of all, just majoring in liberal studies, I didn't have all that much competition, especially since Cal Poly is such a big engineering school. Nobody's really thinking of going there for teaching. And the one question I believe I had on my application was leadership roles. So I just talked about being a cheer captain and stuff like that. So I didn't really have to write that much. So I kind of lucked out on that, not having to write an essay.
Gwen, do you think, and I don't know if this is the case, but admissions, do they take into consideration majors like that to that extent? Like they're not just looking for kids, they're looking to fill their majors specifically with unique students? Because I mean, I didn't even think about that, but I guess that could be true. Do you know if someone said that?
I know a lot of people, even at Cal Poly specifically, like have applied for liberal studies, and once they get in for liberal studies, they switch their majors. So it is a trick kind of in the system. I don't love it. I think it's kind of unfair, but a lot of people do that. So they are trying to fill up the majors. That's why it's harder to get into like SLO, because so many people are trying to apply for engineering. But if I didn't have as much competition in a major, that's more uncommon.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to add,
wonderful.
yeah, to add on to that, a lot of colleges take into consideration like if your major's impacted. Like for me, applying as a business major, it was pretty difficult to get a spot because so many students apply business, and either they apply business to transfer out to something or to stay. They have to fill a quota, and if they meet that quota, they either reject you or they go to your second major choice. And this is happening to a lot more majors as well. Like I believe a lot of colleges in this previous application season have became computer science has become another impacted major just because so many people have been applying to it. And this isn't to say like, oh, when you're applying, apply for something else and then transfer out. I didn't do that just because of like a moral standing, but if you do choose to do that, that is a possible way to get into your dream school. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to what Aiden was saying. So what I've noticed is that at Berkeley, there are multiple colleges, first of all. So there's the College of Letters of Arts and Sciences. We call it Letters and Sciences, or LNS. And then there's also like the College of Engineering. There's the College of Chemistry. There's a lot of different colleges here. And for each of those colleges, or for like each of the colleges that you apply for, I think there's a separate application process. Um, and like if you get into LNS, you don't really have to like declare a major formally until the end of your sophomore year. So you could go in saying that you're interested in a certain major, and then you can like pursue a totally different path afterwards. So like you can like apply as like an MCB major, for example, which stands for molecular and cellular biology. Then maybe you might change your mind and say, oh, I want to be an astrophysics major. I want to be a computer science major. Those are majors that are totally not related to MCB, but they still allow you to pursue that major because you're in the letters of arts and sciences. And a lot of the classes that you take are breadth classes anyway, so there's a lot of overlap in the requirements. That's not necessarily the case for something like engineering though, which is what I'm in. Like I have to go through a more difficult transfer application process in order to transfer to the major that I want now. And so that's just something to keep in mind when you're applying for colleges. And for the college that you're applying for, maybe like it depends entirely on what college you're applying for, but like if you're applying for a certain major, it's so important in the application itself to indicate why you're interested in that major and to try and have a theme that's potentially focused around your major, just to show that, you know, like you have something in mind that you want to pursue and this is why you think you're qualified for that.
Yeah, and to go.
Oh. Sorry, B, you go.
Okay. Something going off of that. If you're passionate about something particularly, this is more towards like the junior, since you have like that year, your senior year. Set some type of project. For example, if you, I don't know if you know her or not, but Azia I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Ozia, who was in my class, I believe she did a canned food drive, and I think that really made her more stand out because she was very passionate about like environmental studies and all that, and she was able to give back through her community doing like some type of project. So if you're passionate about like design, you can start making a portfolio or something like that. So have like some type of project and then probably talk about that through your essays or put that on your applications or something. And yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to give another example. Valentina, a couple of years ago, she was like our valedictorian. She had like a girls' STEM event for engineering, and it was her senior year, I think. And the news came, and they like recorded it and whatever. But yeah, if you know what major you're going to be right now, start thinking about ways to do like little projects and things. Sorry, Gwen, keep going.
Oh yeah, you're fine. I just wanted to say that I have heard that switching majors within your college, like your specific college at your school, is easier than switching completely to a different college. And also, I just think it's super important to research your school because, like, Cal Poly is an upside down curriculum. So I started my first quarter as a freshman immediately in liberal studies specific classes. So Cal Poly doesn't just do 2 years of GEs and then you go into your major. You kind of start right away. So make sure you research your school because if you're still unsure about your major, that might be a little bit of some wasted time. Just something to think about.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Oh, okay. I was gonna like ask for all y'all about like the process and the journey of when y'all pick your classes for just like the programs, like something like to like watch out for. I was like wondering like if you have any advice for that.
Sorry, I can sorry, Bianca, I saw you were gonna go. Do you want to go first? Okay. I'm just saying things that pop into my head first. So when you're planning for your classes, the biggest tip I would say is look what other classes the prereqs are, because you may really want to take a class in the future and then not realize that you have to take a specific class before you can take that one, and that has like really messed me up sometimes. So plan ahead and try to figure out when you need to take specific classes before big ones. And this just might be something specific to NYU, I'm not sure, but our buildings are scattered all over the city. So if you have like a similar instance where like the distance between buildings, when you're planning your schedule, look at like the times and where the buildings are to make sure you have enough time to get across campus, and in my case, across the city.
I would definitely recommend planning in advance. Really helps, like looking at the flow charts if they're offered for your major. I base basically everything off of that, but also be flexible, have backup options. Almost every quarter that I sign up for classes, they usually fill up and I have to make a whole new schedule right then and there. So have backup plans. And like Alexis was saying, just really look at where your classes are because you might have to book it. So I just really recommend that. And yeah, just look at the flow chart is everything. Looking at professors because there could be two different sections of the exact same class, just different professors, and one will be absolutely awful and the other is like raved about on like Rate My Professors or We Have Poly Professors. So just do your research and talk to other people in your major who have already taken the class because that can really make a difference on how your quarter goes.
Definitely your first year you're gonna make mistakes, so just like expect that and just like know that you'll go through it. I struggled this year too as well, but I'm still on track. Going off of that, talk to your advisors. That will definitely help you a lot with making sure you're on the path.
I'm gonna give two pieces of advice, one of which is like goes against what you'll typically hear from a lot of people when it comes to selecting classes, and that's if you're on the wait list for a class, which is something that I experienced a lot, I would say don't just like disregard like your prospects of ever getting the class, because like this has happened to me multiple times now. I've attempted to sign up for a class, I had a bad enrollment time, and I ended up getting put on the wait list. And oftentimes people just like when they get on the wait list, they realize, okay, I don't have any chance. Like I'm number 70 on the wait list. Like there's no way I'll get off. But like I would definitely recommend doing more research into the class to see like whether you'll actually have a chance of getting off the wait list for the class. Um, there's like a rule that like if you're like in the top 10% of the wait list, like if there's like 70 people on the wait list and like you're like number 5 or number 8 on the wait list, like you'll have a good chance of getting off regardless of what the class is. But there are like also classes that I've had where they just take everyone off of the wait list. Sorry again, it's a little bit loud, but they'll just like take everyone off of the wait list. And so like that's come in really handy as well. So I would definitely recommend looking into like the waitlist policy for your class, and don't just like disregard if you get on the waitlist. Um, a second thing is to like really look into the classes and don't just like it's important to follow your major requirement sheet, of course, because you want to be on track to follow your major. But oftentimes you might need to do more research into the class to see whether like the class you're taking is easy or whether it's hard. Because like in my case, like there are some classes that I needed to take to fulfill a requirement where I had multiple options. Like I could have taken this easier class or I could have taken this harder class, and I attempted to take the harder class my first semester, not knowing that it was a harder class, and then realizing afterwards that it was a harder class, and then I just struggled through the class. And so definitely like look into your classes to see whether it's a class where you'd be willing to take on the challenge, and if you don't want to take on the challenge, and just like find the easier alternative and just do that instead. So definitely look into your classes and research what the classes have to offer before you sign up for them.
I also have to say, have fun with your first year, I feel like, because definitely your junior, senior year, I feel like it starts to get tough since you're taking classes for your major. Like right now, I'm learning Italian just for fun, you know? So, yeah.
One thing I would add is if you're able to do well on your AP exams, because then that will get rid of any unnecessary math or science or any other like gen eds. I think that's what they're called at your guys' schools. Yeah. So if you're able to, try to study really hard and pass the test.
Dylan, did you have a question?
I did. So I was wondering, for any of your guys, for your colleges, how is like the online classes? Because I'm gonna go to the military, but I was gonna try to still do college. But what do you think for your guys' colleges? Would they be any good for me to go do it online, or how do you see online college, or what is it? What do you think it's like?
I can go because I had my whole first year online. I absolutely hated them at first, and then I adjusted, and now I don't mind them. I like to throw in a couple if I can during the quarter to help break things up. Usually they're pretty good. I've seen teachers kind of lighten the load when it is online because they don't want to be there just as much as you don't want to be there. Just because it's uncomfortable to sit on the computer for 2 straight hours. Or however long your class is. Usually it's 2 hours for me. A lot of teachers get breaks in the middle, or I've had teachers both this quarter and last quarter who like leave halfway through. So that's the nice part about online classes is that if like you can get out early, you can be flexible. Like if you need to go somewhere, you can be online while in the car and stuff. So I wouldn't say I don't see any problems with online classes. I actually enjoy them a lot.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, did anyone else have another question? Yeah, go ahead, Logan.
I was curious, Gwen said that you don't have to write essays for CalStates. on their application? I've never heard of that, so I'm just curious what the process is because I'm interested in Cal Poly Law.
Yeah, so I believe CalState's you don't have to write any essays. It used to be just GPA and SAT, but I think they got rid of SATs now as well. And UCs require you to write essays, and most like out of state colleges, right? AJ, like NYU, you had to write. Yeah, so Cal Poly is technically a Cal State. So all I had to do was submit my SAT score and my GPA. I didn't have to write any essays. I do believe, if my memory is correct, I had to write if I've ever had any leadership positions. But other than that, I just selected my top choice for a major and my second choice for a major.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, and then I just wanted to ask, like, kind of what your favorite thing about college is, like, less so on the academic side. Anything about, like, I don't know, lifestyle, food, party life, that sort of thing.
I'll start. I really like being independent. So like just being away from like your usual like environment at home and like starting basically a new life is really fun. Meeting new people, self-discovery, it's really fun. It's really fun. And yeah.
I had a really hard time. Well, first year obviously was online. Fall quarter when I first moved in, I had a really hard time just being away from home. But I found a good group of friends, and now we make ourselves go do something every weekend. Just even if it's just going to the beach or going downtown and just looking, not even shopping, because it's not that enjoyable if you lock yourself in your room and do homework all day. I learned that the hard way. So yeah, like B was saying, just going out, having fun with your friends. I feel like it's less chunks of your day like it was in high school. You were gone from 7 to 3 every single day. So now my schedule is like a little looser. Like I have class from 12 to 2 and then 2 to 4, and then I'm free the rest of the day. So besides for doing homework and stuff, just going out and having more free time to do things that you want to do and being independent while doing them it's a lot of fun.
I'll also say that in college, there's a lot of opportunities to just be able to do a lot of different things. I feel like in high school, even though like Courtsville has lots of opportunities, of course, and there are plenty of clubs that you could get involved in, just the opportunities in high school in general are typically limited compared to what college has to offer, just because college is like a bigger space. There's a lot more people, there's a lot more resources out there. So there's a lot of different things that you can get involved in. Like if you want to get involved in like a pre-professional like consulting club or something, then you can do that. If you want to get involved in like a cooking club, um, a needle crafting club, there was even something like an edibles club, which is like interesting, or like it was like a psychedelic club. It was like, yeah, it was strange. But there's just like so many different clubs out there. Like any sort of like think you're interested, there's definitely going to be something out there for you that you could get involved in. And so that's one thing I really like one way in which I've been able to find a community here at college, because that is a challenge. Like you all are going to experience this as well when you first go to college, because you're like going to be in this environment with a whole group of new people. You'll have to find a new like group of people usually outside of like the AV and like high school. And so one way in which I was able to do that was through like joining clubs. And I just think that the fact there's so many like awesome clubs that are available in college, like that's something that like I really enjoyed. And there's just like so many things that I've been able to do with like people from my club. Like I'm gonna be gone this weekend for a conference in Chicago. And so like I would not be able to do that if it hadn't been like through the club and like the people who I'd like met through the club. So definitely take advantage of like the resources that college has to offer, and definitely like use this as like an opportunity to really do what you want. Like you're not gonna have as many limitations as you had in high school. Like you have the flexibility to like choose what schedule you want to have, what major you want to pursue, what things you want to do each and every day. So there's a lot more independence that's involved in college life, and so definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing on that note. I think I agree with everything so far. I think by joining things that you wouldn't necessarily see yourself joining is how you'll meet people. Like I recently joined a sorority and that was like never something that I'd ever thought about doing. And then I joined, and I will say sororities at NYU are like nothing like any other school. They're like not typical. I don't know. I don't want to bash sororities, but like it's just really good to meet friends and connect with girls from like different majors, or if you're in a fraternity, guys. Like tomorrow I'm going to a Yankees game with my sorority, which is like so fun. And last week we took a boxing class together. And so it's just really fun to meet new people and get out of your comfort zone.
Yes, Dylan?
Oh, I had a question for all you guys for saying what's it called any advice on just for your workload or just managing homework or just assignments in general, like preparing for exams. Because I'm a terrible person when it comes to time management, but I was wondering if y'all had advice.
I swear by my planner. I like a physical planner. I have to write it down. Or if I don't have it with me, I write it in my notes app on my phone. And I always, if it's possible, write it a couple days ahead. So that way, like, if I have time, I'll get to it. But if not, I can push it to the next day. But if I only write it on the day it's due, then I won't do it. So I have to I have it right here. I have to like put it and put my little check marks. Otherwise, I won't get to it. So I really recommend that. And like I said, a couple days before, so that way, even if, oh, well, I had to go grocery shopping this day, you still have another like day or two to get it done. So that's what my recommendation is.
Yeah, and then if you're a digital person, I swear by my Google Calendar. It's my life. It's color coordinated, like it's filled with everything I need to do from personal life, school life, work. And I would say that you might have to sacrifice your Friday nights or your Saturday nights for studying, because that has happened to me. Almost every week I'll have to stay in and study and do homework, and it sucks, but you can always create like study groups, people that are in your classes that you maybe don't know very well, but you want to study together. Take advantage of all those opportunities, because you'll thank yourself later.
I would definitely suggest working at like a library, not in your room, because being surrounded by people who are working definitely motivates me at least, and I hope that motivates you as too. Yeah, so be in a different area, I feel like helps a lot. I'm a big procrastinator, and that helps me.
One more piece of advice is that like when you're in college, like you're gonna have like a schedule that you're gonna need to know, and it's gonna be like a different schedule for each semester. And so if you're taking a lot of classes, like it can like become really easy to lose track of like what classes you need to go to and like where the classes are. And so one thing that I've seen a lot of people do is like take screenshots of their planner and just like keep that as like the home screen on their phone or on their laptop or something like that. So definitely like if you want to stay organized, you can do that. I think that's fairly important. And I've also seen a lot of people like using Google Calendar as well, like other like planning uh, like softwares, but you can also just like use a physical planner as well. So yeah, these are like all things that I would definitely recommend like you use in college, because like college is a little bit more chaotic. Like you don't have like a strict schedule that you're gonna have to follow compared to high school. So it's definitely very important to like stay organized in that sense. And so if you like use these like little hacks here and there, like taking a screenshot of your planner and keeping it like as the home screen of your phone, like all of these things help to stay organized.
I just wanted to add one more small thing, and I would say give yourself rewards for doing like the littlest things. Like if you go to all your classes all week because they're not mandatory most of the time. But if you go all week, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll buy myself a coffee on Friday. Like by doing that, it makes me want to go and I'm motivated because staying motivated in college is really hard.
I think earlier Jillian asked AJ if you had any advice about going to a college in the East Coast.
Okay, so at first I thought that it was going to be like really easy transition, like everything's going to be fine, like it's just across the country. Also, I've never visited NYU before I came here, which I definitely, if you're applying to a school on the East Coast, you should definitely visit before you come. That's like my biggest advice, because for one, I just experienced my first real winter here, and that has been really hard for me. Seasonal depression is a thing. If you didn't know, it's a real thing. So I would definitely say one, visit. The culture and the people here are definitely different. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but honestly, it's like the best experience ever to visit a different part of the country, especially if you're not used to it. And compared to California, it's just a big change. But I would say don't expect it to be easy. Expect it to be hard, and that will make the transition just a little bit easier.
All right, did anyone else have any other questions?
I have one more. So I was wondering, how many classes like should I take, or how many classes are you guys taking right now? Because I honestly, I don't know whether, because like I know usually like for high school, you take average on 6 per year, but I was wondering, since it's per semester, do you guys take like 3 per semester, or how many classes do you take per semester? Because I don't really know about that.
So I'm on quarter system, so I have 3 per year. Basically it's based off of units, at least at Cal Poly. So different classes are worth different amounts of units. Average is about 4 units per class. So I think there's a range. I think it's like between 12 and 16 is a full-time student. And so I usually try to do 4 unit classes. But for example, last quarter I took 20 units because it was an easier, like I saw the classes were easier, so I knew I could handle it. So I took 20 units. And so that was 5 classes. And then this quarter I'm taking 4 unit classes and then one unit. So I have a total of 5 classes, but it's only 17 units. So it kind of depends on what classes you're taking, should help you kind of determine how many classes you want to take, because if it's a really difficult class, I think he left. If it's a really difficult class, basically don't like overload yourself, because it will be miserable.
Yeah, I believe all the UCs are on the quarter system except for Berkeley. So you would take about 3 classes per quarter, and there's 3 quarters per year, not including summer. So and then I guess there's 4 quarters, but so fall, spring, and winter. So typically you would take 3 classes, and then for semester systems, I believe 6 classes. Is that true, Pranash, right? For the semester system?
We don't really go off of classes. We just go off of units, kind of like Cal Poly Slow. So I think it's like a minimum of like 13 units per semester. I could be wrong on that, but there's like a minimum of 13 units, which equates to around like 3 classes per semester.
I know for my school, it's an average of 15 units a quarter to graduate in the 4 years. So that's kind of how you should determine it.
Oh yeah, for quarter systems, it's definitely a faster pace since you have like limited time. It's about like 2.5 months or 3, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we go by weeks, so we always do the 10 weeks for a
Oh
quarter.
yeah,
So that's one thing
true.
also, for whatever school you're looking for, really
Look into that,
debate
yeah.
if you want quarter or semester system, I love quarter. I think slow is thinking about changing to semester, but I really enjoy quarter. You get to learn so much more, like take other classes, and it's faster. So if you absolutely hate a class or you hate a professor, you get out of there a lot faster.
So a quarter is within like a shorter time, but then a semester is just like it's just a little bit longer. So would semester be like 16 weeks, and then quarters 8 weeks?
A quarter is about 10 weeks, and then a finals week. At least that's slow. And there's three, unless you take summer quarter, but nobody really does that. So yeah, 10 or 3 10-week quarters.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you. So probably just like even then, like just look at this. Well, whatever future college I go to, just like look at the specifics for just like within the graduation requirements, seeing like how many I have to take per quarter semester. And then could I choose that, or is it just based on the college?
It depends on the school. Yeah, definitely research on that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's also weird because most Cal States are semesters, and then slow is like the exemption. And then same things with UC and was it Berkeley that goes by semester? So you just have to really look into that specific school.
Thank you.
So
Oh my
Brooklyn
God, hi
asked us-
Brooklyn.
she's asking how is living in the dorms?
Honestly, depends on like if you're living in a triple or double or single or whatever, but it's not totally too bad. You're definitely meeting new people in your hallway, which is fun. I'm a clean person, so like seeing gross stuff kind of sucks, but overall, it's it's exciting sometimes.
I will say living in the dorm was probably the only reason I've met people here at NYU, just because so if you don't know, like NYU doesn't have a campus. There are buildings like all over the city. So there's not one place where there's like all of the buildings in one place. So for me, in my dorm at least, it's an all freshman dorm. So that's how I met other freshmen. And I will say your roommates are random, so you can't pick them. So it's just kind of like you get a good roommate or you don't, and then if you don't, you can always like switch out. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I'd say one really nice thing about living in the dorms is the fact that like you can get close with a lot of people who live on your floor. Um, I think the nice thing about dorms is that like you'll have your room where you'll have your one or two roommates. Like I'm in a triple, so maybe this is a little bit different from what a lot of people um have to experience, but like I have two roommates as opposed to one roommate. So like I've gotten close with both of my roommates, which I think has been really nice. Um, but aside from that, I like there's just like a lot of people who you can meet on your floor as well. Um, it's really easy for me to just like go to my friend on my floor, just like hang out with them. Like there's like one room that has like a TV where like people play like Super Smash or something like that. So like if you want to do that, like it's really easy to just like like knock on someone's door and just come in and like hang out with them and talk to them, which I think is really cool. So you get close with people on your floor. That's the upside of the dorms. There's one downside though, and I think it's just that um like people have communal bathrooms. Like that's my experience in the dorms. Like if you really don't want to have a communal bathroom, you can like request a mini suite, and then I think you have your own bathroom that you share with your roommates. But like I'm experiencing how it's like to have a communal bathroom, and I mean, I guess it's something to get used to. It's a little bit different, but I mean, I think it's very doable. But I think dorm life ultimately has more upsides than downsides because, um, like you get to be close with the people on your floor and the people who you're rooming with, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, I made sure every college that I applied to, I made sure it didn't have communal bathrooms because that's like my biggest pet peeve. But I will say that NYC is really dirty and I have had cockroaches. So there's a downside.
You have cockroaches, I have turkeys.
Okay, so I think we're pretty close to finishing up. Does anyone have any last questions? Okay, and if you guys want to give any like parting words, like last minute advice, like you got this sort of thing, you guys can go ahead and do that, and then we should be good after that.
Don't put pressure on yourself. Everything happens for a reason. If you don't get into a school, then it wasn't meant to be, and you will be okay. I promise. You go through ups and downs. College is hard, but look at all the people who are able to do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Just believe in yourself and be proud of yourself. High school was hard. You got through that. And now you have all this amazing stuff to look forward to. And you will make whatever place you pick a home. And yeah, just you'll be great. I promise.
Sorry, Dylan, did you want to ask your question?
Oh, I was gonna say, for like, I know it's the recording button. Is this gonna be like posted on Google Classroom at the end for like the video?
My mic wasn't on. Anyways,
I was like, what
but
happened?
yeah, yeah, we're most likely gonna post it. Yeah, we'll probably edit it up a little bit and put like timestamps of what like we're talking about. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem.
I just wanted to say that community college also is a great option. Like, don't be scared and like feel like you have to go to a 4-year institution, because one, it is very expensive, and two, it's also okay to transfer if you don't love where you're at. I know there's a lot of like stigma around choosing one place and it has to be perfect, and maybe your expectations were too high and it's not really what you thought it was going to be like. It's okay to transfer, and it's okay to go to community college.
Yeah, I definitely agree with AJ. Some last words is that when you go to college, the whole world is your oyster. You get to do whatever you want and look out for that and just like have fun. Like you're gonna have this is basically or it might be one of your best years of your life. So make the most out of it, have fun, do whatever, but study. Do what you had to do to come here. But yeah.
My final piece of advice is just to like, I don't know, like this is very generic advice, but just to make the most of your college life, because college really is like a time to like reinvent yourself and become a better person, a new person. It's a totally different experience from anything that you might have experienced in grade school. It's a totally new environment. Oftentimes, you're going to be in a totally different place. You're going to meet a totally new set of people. There's just a new set of things that you can get involved in, and you like the most important thing is that you'll have the freedom to do what you want, and so it can be really exciting. And so there may be times where like you'll have a hard time adjusting in college, and that's totally normal. Like we've all been through it as college students. I definitely have been through that phase, but like in the end you'll get through it. And you know, you'll come to appreciate just how awesome college is and the opportunities that you'll have in college. Like I really think that college is one of the most memorable times of your entire life. And you'll definitely experience that once you come to college. Like I'm definitely never gonna forget my time in college and all the memories that I have made so far and that I will be making in college, because there's just so much that I'm looking forward to. And so definitely get excited for college. College is a fun time. No matter where you go, you're gonna have a great time in college and it'll be amazing. So yeah, that's that.
Cool. Thank you guys. Aiden, right now we're just like finishing up with like a last piece of advice to anyone if you want to jump in. But yeah, totally up to you.
Yeah, sure. Don't make the same mistake as me. You should get out there as soon as possible. Like first week 0, get out there, meet a lot of people, join a lot of organizations, or you're gonna be stuck like me, chilling with Syed every day. Syed, say hi.
We love Syed.
Mr. Jennison's here. Mr. Jennison. Don't say who, he's in the call. Yeah. Go out there, join organizations. And if you are a junior or sophomore right now, I'm not sure if there are any in the call, try joining orgs right now. I've met a lot of people in college that I didn't know were associated in a similar organization. Like, for example, I was in Key Club. It's a California, Nevada, Hawaii-wide organization. I was able to meet a lot of kids from who are originally from San Diego that I've known online. But I was able to make a fruitful friendship here. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to like all of our alumni. I really appreciate you guys coming out and like talking to all of us. And you guys gave really good advice. I'll be honest. Like that was like good job. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're most likely gonna post this soon, and then yeah, I think that's essentially it. You guys need to go. So yeah, thank you.